on, guys? Justin Fuller, ex-Honda salesperson for nearly a decade, and today I want to show you some tips and tricks on the 2023 Honda Accord, so that you don't own this thing for 2 or 3 years and go, damn, I didn't even know it could do that. So let's hop on in. So the first tip or trick I want to show you is related to the key fob. So did you know that you can press the unlock button on this once and then press it twice, and if you hold, it'll actually roll down your windows and your moonroof if you've got one. Now you may be saying to yourself, well, what if this is in my pocket and I accidentally do this and then it's raining outside and my car floods with water? Well, you can turn this feature off. I'll show you how to do that as well. All right, so let's show you where to go to turn this feature off. So you're gonna go to vehicle settings, right? So once I'm in vehicle settings, you're gonna see this screen right here. Now understand that you can change this depending on how you wanna view it. So from here, I'm gonna scroll down. Now I wanna go to door setup. Now once I'm under door setup, I'm gonna scroll down. The feature you're looking for is right here, keyless remote power window controls. If you have this feature on, that will allow you to use the key fob to roll the windows down. If you turn this off, it will prevent that feature from working, so you don't have to worry about accidentally rolling your windows down in the middle of a thunder. All right, guys, so this next one is gonna be related to your keys and, of course, your door handles. So when I walk up to the car and I touch the door handles, it's gonna just unlock this one door, but not my other doors, which isn't a big deal out here in Austin because it's like this every day. But if you live somewhere where it's super rainy or cold or snowing all the time, how helpful would it be that the minute you touch your door handle, it'll then unlock all the doors to the car so all your passengers get in? Let me show you how to do that. So we're gonna go to vehicle settings again. Now under vehicle settings, we wanna come down here to keyless access setup. Now, once we've set that, you're gonna see the very top, door unlock mode. Currently it's set to driver's door only. If I touch this, I can then change it to all doors so that every single door will open when my hand touches that door handle. All right, guys, so I wanna talk to you about getting out of the car. When I get out of the car, I shut the door, I start heading into the grocery store, into work, or wherever I'm heading, and then it dawns on me, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I locked the doors. And then I go into that panic mode until I turn around and I walk all the way back out to the car and either hit the alarm to see if I can get it to make that noise to where we know it'll give me the honk or the beep, or I gotta walk all the way back out to it and check. Well, what if I told you could set it up to where when you get 10 feet from the car and you have the fob with you, it'll automatically lock the doors? Let me show you how to do that. Okay, so to set the walk away auto lock feature, you're gonna go to vehicle settings. Now, once you're under vehicle settings, you're gonna wanna scroll down here. We wanna go to door setup. Now, once you're under door setup, it's gonna be right here. You're gonna see it's currently turned off. That's the default setting. If I turn this feature on now, when I get 10 feet from the car, if I have the key fob with me, it'll automatically lock the doors so I don't have to go into that panic when I'm leaving my car and heading into the grocery store, work, or wherever it might be. All right, guys, so these next couple tips or tricks are gonna be related to gas. So I wanna talk to you about that. The first thing is, did you know that this is connected to your door locks? So you don't have a button or a tab in there that you gotta pull anymore. You can just simply pop this open. But while I have this open, I wanna point something out. So if I pull you in here, I'll point out, and you'll notice there's not a gas cap, right? So they've set this up with a valve. So the question becomes, what happens if I run out of gas? How do I hold that open to pour gas into it? Because I might not have a gas can on me. Well, if you come around over here to the trunk, I wanna show you something. So underneath here, down on the bottom, you can pull this up. And this is where you would find like the repair kit for your tires in case you need a flat and you need to repair it, right? But in here, there's a small funnel. If you take this funnel, this is what this is set up for, guys. You can hold that valve open to where if you had a water bottle, if you had whatever you were using to store the gas to pour it in, you would be able to hold this open to pour the gas into your gas tank so that you could get down to the road to the nearest service station. Now, the second part to this is what happens if this door gets closed and it gets stuck? Right, I'm trying to press it and it won't open. Is there a release that I can use to get it to pop open? And the answer is absolutely yes. Let me show you where that's at. So once again, if you come around here into the trunk, you're gonna wanna go to this back corner right here. When you get to this back corner, you can actually pull the carpet down and there is a wire right here. If you pull this wire, this will actually pop it open for you. So you just give it a tug and then you can walk around and it should pop open. Now I wanna talk to you about an odd scenario that you may run in from time to time, because it does happen, it happens to all of us, and that's what happens if the car battery dies? How do I get into the car? Because the door locks are all electronic, to get into the trunk is electronic, so essentially I'm trapped outside of my car and my belongings that I may need might be in the car or specifically in the trunk. Well, I wanna explain how to get into the vehicle. So on your keys, if you look at this, on the side there's a little silver button that you can press, and if you press that button, which I'm gonna do and hold the camera, there's actually a key that lives inside of the key fob, right? So what I can do is I can then take this over here. I have my key. Underneath the door handle, there's actually a place where you can plug your key in. Once I plug that in, it's gonna give me the ability to get the door unlocked. Now, I've got the driver's side door so I could get any of my belongings, but what if I have something in the trunk that I need to get out? I wanna show you how to do that. The first thing I would have to do is I have to come over here to my door locks, right? And I'd have to manually unlock it back here. So once I've manually unlocked it, right, I get it manually unlocked it, I can press this door open. Now, once I have this door open, then I can come to the complete back of the vehicle. So if I'm still trying to get into the trunk of the car, if you come back here, there is a little tab that you can see that lives right here that I can pop open. Once I pop this open, you'll see that there's a spot to plug this key in. So once I've got this open, I'm gonna take my key, I'm gonna put my key inside of this slot. From there, I should be able to turn it, which let me put the key in the right way and see if I can all do this with one hand. We get the key in, we go ahead and pop it, and then voila, what have I done? I've got into the trunk. So if you ever find yourself stuck with a dead battery and you need to get belongings out of the trunk or out of the car, this is how you would do it. Have you ever been in the backseat of someone's car and they go ahead and turn the car off and you go to get out and you're like messing with the door handle and you're like, hey man, let me out, I can't get out. Well, that's probably because the door locks are set to stay until the driver opens their door or until they shift to park or some setting like that. Well, Hondas are set up the same way. You want to change it to where you don't have people playing in the backseat or trying to figure out how to get out of the car as you gather your things up? Well, let me show you. So we're gonna go into vehicle settings right here. So I'm gonna select this. When you get into vehicle settings, you're gonna wanna scroll down to door setup. Now, once you've gotten a door setup, the second one down is auto door unlock. So the way this is set up is auto door. When the driver's door open, it then unlocks the remaining doors of the car, which means you're waiting for that person to start to get out so that you can get those features, get their belongings together so that you can get out. Now you can set this up to where the minute the car shifts to park, now all the doors are unlocked and everybody can hop out and start heading in. And that slowpoke person who likes to get their belongings together can do so while everyone exits the car. Now, if you want to change that to when you turn the vehicle off, you can set that up as well, or you can leave it as the default. Only when the driver's side door opens does it then unlock the remaining doors of the car. So this next tip or trick is going to be related to using your phone in the car, specifically Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So I want to show you a couple shortcuts and ways to customize it so that you can enjoy it a little bit better. Here we are, and I've got the home screen pulled up, and I'm going to go to Android Auto since I'm specifically using the Google Pixel 7, but it may say Apple if you're an Apple user. So when I jump in here, it's going to pull up my default screen, so it pulls up the last thing that I had running. So from here, I'm going to jump back to the menu, and I want to show you a couple things. So the first thing you may notice here is I've got a custom background. And not only do I have a custom background, but I have a specific contact I can reach, which is my phone number in case you ever need to reach me. It's in the description of the video, and it's of course on my YouTube channel. But this way I can automatically call that person. So if you have a spouse, a friend, a family, whoever it is that you want to be able to quickly call at any time, it's nice to have a button to just touch and immediately call them. Now the second one is I have one set up to give me immediate directions home. So if I touch this, it'll automatically pull up, it'll drop in the
31 minutes from your location by car in light traffic.
The prompt for me, and then it'll immediately pull up Google Maps and start to direct me home. Now, I want to show you how to set up all these different things. So the first one is, how do I do the custom background? Custom background is super simple. All I got to do is come down to settings. When I get to settings, if you scroll down here, there's wallpaper. Now, when you go to wallpaper, you can select whatever you want. So maybe I want to change it to wind here. And now I've got this. So from here, I can back out, right? Go back to this. And then now you'll notice I have a different setup. Now, the second part is I want to show you how to set up a specific person you can call, right? A contact, and then a particular action. So if it was, directions to McDonald's or home or work or whatever it is, I want to show you how to set that up. So what you're going to do is you're going to press and hold on any of the things on the screen, right? And it's going to say app launcher, customize, open. It's going to open this screen right here. Now, up here, you can see, first off, there's a couple things. You can see that I have those two specific actions that I've designed, but then I have all the rest of this. So I want to show you first off a couple different things. One being is that I can pick where things are. So if I want my calendar to be the very first thing, okay, well then let me just adjust that. Now the second part to this is how do I create those actions? So add a shortcut to the launcher. So I'm gonna go to that now. Call a contact, very simple. Click that, go find my contact, which I did, and then it'll create it, right? Now the second part to this is, hey, what if I want to do an assistant action? So I'm gonna go ahead and select that. Now I need to set up the command that it's gonna tell essentially Google for me or Siri for you, right? So it might be, directions to nearest Starbucks or McDonald's or whatever it is, right? So let's go Starbucks, right? So I'm gonna type this in and go, directions nearest Starbucks, and then I just need to label it, so I'll put Starbucks on here, right? So this is like what it's gonna show up as. So once I've done that, I can then test the command and make sure it works, or just create the shortcut. Now it's gonna create the shortcut and drop it way down here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag this all the way up here to the top. So let me get it up here. Now, once I've done this, I'm gonna need to turn the car off and turn it back on for it to appear here and for any changes I made as far as the order of these apps. So let's turn the car off and turn it back on. So I turned the car off and I turned it back on. So let's go back into Android Auto. Now from here, I wanna go to this screen. You'll see that my custom background is still It's what I changed it to. The calendar has moved. My Starbucks, so I can click this. It'll then give me directions to the nearest Starbucks.
Starbucks is 5 minutes from your location by car in light traffic.
There you go, and then it's gonna pull up Google Maps for me and start directing me to that nearest Starbucks. So you can see that that feature worked, along with me changing the background has stayed, and then me rearranging. Remember, I moved the calendar to the front and kind of slid some things around. These have all changed as far as the order goes as well. So this next feature I wanna show you is actually directly in front of me, and that's gonna be related to the cluster in the display that you see. So let me flip you around and show you some things you can do. Here we are looking at the display right now, and you may be looking at this going, mine does not look anything like this, right? And that's because I've done some customization to change things up a little bit, and I want to show you how to do that. So the first buttons and knobs we're going to be using are going to be right here. So I'm going to be using these to make some changes over here. So I'm going to come on in, right? And then from here, I'm going to scroll down. Now, I want to go all the way down here until you see gauge display settings. Now, when I get here, this is where I can go down to the gauge design. Now, what you're probably used to seeing is the round one, right? So if I click on this, yours probably looks a little bit more like this, right? So this probably looks a little bit more what you're used to, but understand that you have got some different options you can take advantage of. The bar is what I just had it set to. I can scroll down here and go to bar minimal. So if you just really want to limit what you're seeing on the screen, know that you've got some different options that you can take advantage of here as far as ways to set this up and customize exactly what you're seeing. So if you're not aware, Honda has quite a few different safety settings. Things like a frontal collision warning system, a collision mitigated braking system. You've got blind spot monitoring in your mirrors. You've got all these different things, cross traffic monitoring in the back. And what you might not know is that there are settings you can change on these things. On, hey, do I want to receive, audible alerts? Or do I want to change the settings on the distances that these kind of are affecting me by? So sometimes you can find that certain features are just, they're not quite exactly what you want, and I want to show you how to make those changes to some of those safety features. Okay, so to get to all those safety features to affect different settings of it, we're going to go to vehicle settings. Now, once we're under vehicle settings, we want to go to driver assisted system setup. Now, let's walk you through and explain what these features are. The first one is a frontal collision warning system. So this car has radar in the front of the car that will bounce off the car in front of you, so that if it's looking like you're going to rear end somebody, it can give you an audible alert, which is what you can see turned on right here, and then it can actually start to apply the brakes to help to prevent the accident. Now, sometimes people will find that if somebody's turning in front of them, it can be a little bit touchy and pick them up and start to slow the car down. So understand that you can come in here and you can change this to a longer distance, or you can go to a shorter one if you feel like whatever it is that makes it work better for you. So just know that the default is going to be on normal, but you can make these changes. So longer being, hey, I want it to slow me down a little bit sooner, or shorter, hey, you can cut some of that distance out. I find that sometimes it's picking up the wrong thing. So know that you can make those changes for the frontal collision warning system and the collision mitigated braking system. Now, the next one down is road departure mitigation. So if I'm starting to drive off the shoulder of the road, it can give me an audible alert to let me know, hey, wake up, you're driving off the side of the road. Now, what it's doing is it's using a camera up above the rear view mirror to detect the lines on the road to do that. So understand that I can come in here, so if you find this a little bit touchy, I can make it narrower or I can make it wider depending on what your needs are. So understand that you have some options that you can change here. Now, as I continue to scroll down, lane keep assist. And what lane keep assist is using that camera that is right up above, right behind your rearview mirror to detect lines on the road when you're driving down the road standard, right? So it'll pick up the lines on the road. If you drift a little bit to the left or to the right, what it's gonna do is just keep you centered in the road, right? So if it ever loses track of the road while you have it on, it can be set to beep to alert you, or you can turn that beep off. Now, the next one down is going to be related to the traffic sign recognition that it uses. So using that camera, it can pick up traffic signs. So if it sees a speeding sign, and it can lay it out in the instrument cluster behind your steering wheel, right? So in the display screen. So understand that you can obviously have this turned on and off. I find that it's extremely helpful to have it on. And if there's, if you want speed warnings, right? So you want like an audible alert to let you know, hey, you're exceeding the speed, just so you don't speed in case you find yourself traveling a lot, know that you can turn these things on and off. So not only can you set you can turn the entire option on and off, but then you can also say, hey, I don't need it to alert me when my speed changes, right? You're getting too many bells, too many whistles going off in the car. Maybe you want to limit some of these and turn some of them off. Also understand that you've got a threshold that you can set here, right? So I could come in here and go, if I'm going +3, +5, I can pick when I get those alerts, because maybe I don't need if I'm only going 3 over, right? I don't think that anybody's going to pull me over if I'm necessarily doing that. So understand that you've got quite a few different things going on here. Now, if your vehicle has rear sensors, understand understand that you can turn those on and off right here as well. So a lot of different features that you can not only affect, turn on, turn off, suspend beeps, all that, but you can also set distances that it will start to put that process into place. So understand that you have those available to you and you can customize them. So have you ever gotten into your car, you go ahead and you crank it up and then you put it in drive and you try to move and then you realize the parking brake's on and you feel like a complete dummy? Because I've done it plenty of times, happens all the time. Well, I wanna show you a trick to the Honda. So you'll notice I'm wearing my seatbelt right now. So if you get in your car and you put your seatbelt on first, you're gonna go ahead and turn your car on. So I've already turned my car on, right? So you can see everything's on, right? And I have my parking brake still set. But what you might not know is that the way that Honda's set up, if you have your seatbelt on, which I do, I can put the car in drive. If I touch the gas pedal, it'll actually release this automatically for me. So I don't have to worry about setting that. It'll automatically turn off and I can move down the road. This next tip or trick is gonna be related to looking out the back end, right? Using your backup camera. Because chances are, you probably know that you have one, and if you don't, well, surprise, when you throw it in reverse, it'll come on. So I wanna show you this. So when you throw on your backup camera, you're gonna see this view, right? So from here, I can start backing up. Now, one, you've got dynamic guidelines that you can turn on and off. So if you like having these on where when you cut the wheel, know that you can turn these on. If you don't have them on, know that you can turn those on as well. But I want to tell you 3 different things here. One, know what these lines are related to. So when you're looking at this, you want to make sure that if you are backing up to another vehicle, that they are on the other side of this solid line right here, right? That's going to give them enough space if you're parallel parking for them to get out and you to get in. Now, this dotted line is about 6 inches from your bumper. So when I'm backing up to something, if I'm not sure, understand that I've got 3 different views that I can do, so I can back up and I can look right here. So if I was parallel parking, if their front end is on the other side of this, then I know that they have enough space to get out. Now, this 6-inch mark is if I'm backing up to something, I'm like, all right, I need to leave a little bit of space between me and the pole behind me or the wall or whatever the case is. That's what these 2 lines are for. So understand what these lines are for, right? You've got 3 different views that you can see here. I've got a wide angle view of about 170 degrees. I've got a standard backup one and then one aimed straight down to let me see these distances related to parallel parking, or if I park in a parking structure and I want to make sure there's enough space that I can get back there to get my belongings out of the back of the vehicle. Now, if you want to change those dynamic guidelines to just flat guidelines or vice versa, you want to turn them on because somebody has changed them, you're going to come into here and you're going to go to general settings. Now, once you're under general settings, you're going to scroll over. You're going to get to camera. Now, I want to go to rear wide camera. Now, from here, I can select guidelines. Now, from here, if the fixed guidelines are on, then that means it's just static, right? So I would have had these turned off. But if I have the dynamic guidelines on, right, if I turn those on, that's where when I cut the wheel, it's gonna change those guidelines with me, is what you currently saw when I throw it in reverse. So right now, if I throw it in reverse and I cut the wheel, dynamic guidelines. If you don't want these on, you would wanna come back into here and turn those off. All right, guys, so hopefully some of these tips and tricks have helped you out, because the last thing I want you to do is to own a car and not really know some of the potential and changes that you can make to it to make it really yours, right? To really own it and to really understand and appreciate it. So if you like this video, I hope you'll do me a couple favors. One, press the like button. Let me know that you liked it. You appreciate the way I put the content together. If you have questions, or if you know of a tip or trick that I missed, I hope that you'll leave a comment, because that would be even better. I would love to be able to compound on this and then add and make a larger one that shows some more tips and tricks that you guys maybe have found that I haven't found yet. And then I hope you'll subscribe to the channel so when I come out with tips and tricks videos or comparison videos of how this car stacks up to maybe the Toyota Camry or the Honda CR-V stacks up, you know, to whatever it is, the Forester or whatever the case may be, that you'll receive those videos. So I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel and of course, hit that bell so that you receive those notifications on my videos. Other than that, appreciate you tuning in. I hope you'll like, comment, subscribe, all of the things. Later, guys!